So let's now define a color picker field that we will use in order to change the accent color of the website. So let's create a new section and we'll call it general options, and then inside of it we'll put the color picker. So let's go now to the customize the PHP, and I've added some comments here for the different sections that we'll add throughout the course. So let's add a new section and call it general options, and let's do that quickly, and let's copy this and just change the footer to general. Now let's add a new setting to add to this field. So, and let's call it accent color, and pass an array of options, and I have a typo here. So we'll give it a default value, and we'll make this the current color. Let's see the code for it. And this one. And we'll also sanitize it. So sanitize code back. And we don't have to define a custom function. There is a core function in WordPress called sanitize hex color, which will sanitize the color in this format, the hex format. So this will be perfect. Now it's time to add a control for this setting. So to add an HTML element control, we used to define the control as so, and the type will be text or select or any HTML element, but now we need a custom color picker. So this will be a little different, but it's easy as well. WordPress provides a custom classes, and if you go to this guide and the core custom controls section, you'll find some classes like WP customized color control or media control for images and audio and stuff like that. So the one that we will need is customize color control. So let's copy this example, and it's defined a little bit differently. So you first initialize the customize color control, and then you pass it the WP customize object, which is this one, and then you add the setting name here, or the control name, which should be the same, and then the array of options. So a little bit different, but nothing really hard here. And let's change the text domain, and the section we will need to add it in our newly created section. And let's see now our customizer. And we now have a general options section, and inside of it an accent color. So now we can change this color, and the iframe will refresh, but of course nothing will change now because we haven't used this field yet. So let's do that now. So let's open our website, and let's view the source. So we have our CSS loaded here in the bundle.css file, and what we need to do is to load some styles after this file to override it, but also we need this file to be a PHP file because we will need to write some PHP in it, right? We need to get this field using some PHP functions. So I think alright, we can go to the footer.php, which will be loaded definitely after we load our CSS files, and write some inline styles to override it. So let's try to do that. Let's go to footer.php, and let's add some inline styling here. Let's add a background to the body, and now because we're in a PHP file, we can open a PHP tag and write some PHP. So we can echo the theme option, so get theme mod, and then the name, which we called accent color. So let's try and see if this will work. And as you can see, it's working. And let's try and change it. and it's working great. So the idea is to override any styles that use this color in an inline style that is loaded after the our original bundle.css file. However, writing these styles in the footer.php is not a right approach. So let's delete what we've written now, and let's see how to properly add inline styles in WordPress. So let's go to enqueue assets. So to add the inline styles in WordPress properly, you need to use in the enqueue scripts action, you need to call a function called wp add inline style, and it takes a handle, and the handle should be a handle of a CSS style sheet that already exists, and you want to load these styles after it. So we need to load our styles after our main style sheet, so it should be this handle. And it also takes the CSS string that we want to enqueue. So let's write some CSS as a string. And let's try now and see. And sorry, I typed script here instead of style. So let's try again. And it's working. And let's see it in the source. And as you can see, right after the bundle.css, we now have an inline style which also has an ID, and this will be very useful in the future, and our string here. But of course we will have probably a lot of CSS here, so it doesn't make sense to write all of it in the second argument here as a string. So let's create a new file in the lib, and let's call it Inline CSS. And here we'll define a string variable that contains all of our CSS styles that we need to add inline. And then we'll import this variable here and add it as a second argument. So let's do that. So let's open PHP and define a new variable. Let's call it inline styles. And let's add some CSS. So we need to change all the A tags to our accent color from the options page. So and in case you don't know, if you use double quotes here in a string, you can use PHP variables like that instead of concatenating using the dot and stuff like that. So let's define a accent color variable that we will get from the options. So get theme mod, and the name, which is this one. And the default value is this color here. But of course this is a value from the database, so we should sanitize it or escape it before using it. So let's use the same function that we used in the customizer. So we now defined a variable here with the CSS string, and we need to make it available here. So we can use PHP's include function. And include needs an absolute path, so you can use get template directory without URI, and then our path, which is lib, and inline css.php. And now this variable will be available, and we can pass it as a second argument. So let's see now. And as you can see, the link color already changed. So let's try and change it. And as you can see, the link colors change, and any CSS we will add in this file will be applied to. So that's great. So let's add some more styles to this file. So let's see what else we can add. We have the focus ring, and the focus ring is it's an outline color. So let's try and add some styles for this one. So let's go to the inline-css and add one more selector here, focus, and then this time it will be the same but outline color. So let's see now. And as you can see, the outline color changed. And of course, as we change it, it will reflect on the customizer. We also have this border color. So let's take this and add it here. And this will be border left color. And it will take the accent color. And we have also some backgrounds like the button and input, submit. So if you have a large template, this will be a kind of a boring process, but it's worth it. And this will be background color. So we don't have to do all of them, so let's try these. And as you can see, we have our color in all the selectors. So let's do these as well. And this will be, let's add class open here. And let's hover on the li. And this will be it. So let's add this one to the background. And fine. So we can do some improvements to this. So right now the whole iframe will refresh if we change the color. So let's figure out a way to do this as fast as possible without refreshing the whole iframe.